This is a very interesting patient. It's a patient who came to see us, and I spent a long time chatting to his dad, who told me that he would take his son to the movies every week to see a different kind of movie. And his father was really intrigued to know whether his son was enjoying this experience, whether we, through the brain imaging, could provide him with any evidence that he was actually experiencing a movie. Was this a completely pointless activity that he was doing every week?
Jeff is very outgoing, and one of his greatest attributes has always been his smile. Was a very well-liked person before his injury, and very caring. He's a family type man. He had a lot of friends. Of course, he had his girlfriend at the time and just finishing up high school. Yeah, he was out with friends. They were going back to a friend's house to watch movies after they were out for a few drinks at that time, right? And then he was, basically the injury was caused by an aggravated assault is what it turned into be. It was a kick in the chest, which caused the cardiac arrest, which he stopped breathing. And by the time they got him resuscitated again, it had been a period of time without breathing and without blood circulation, so it caused some brain damage. As soon as the injury happened, he was basically comatose, right? And there was no activity in his eyes, no life in his eyes. And then it was about a month later, it was kind of like a switch went on, and there was all of a sudden life in his eyes, and his smile came back. It was the first thing that came back.
What we've learned, I suppose, over the last 6 or 7 years is that about 1 in 5 patients who appear to be in a vegetative state, so clinically they are non-responsive and they pass all of the internationally agreed criteria for the vegetative state. About 1 in 5 of them will turn out to actually be conscious, to have some level of awareness that is not apparent from their outward appearance.
Ever since Jeff got hurt there, I've done a lot of research, and I always go on the internet and see what's out there about brain injury and where they've come with it. And I came across this one with Dr. Owen there in London, Ontario, which was only 60 minutes from where Jeff was born and raised. And so I thought, well, I'm going to look into this.
So we simply play the patient a movie. It's a short Alfred Hitchcock movie. We don't even tell them they have to watch it. I mean, they do, because it's hard to avoid watching, but we play them the movie, and we use their changes in brain activity during the movie to determine whether or not they are following the plot, whether their brain is responding to things that happen in the movie. And on that basis, we are able to determine whether or not they are conscious. The patient had been supposedly in a vegetative state for about 16 years at this point. And we tried this technique, we played him the movie, and again, we monitored his brain while he was watching the movie in order to try and establish whether or not he was deriving any understanding of the plot, whether he was feeling suspense at the point that the plot becomes suspenseful, whether he was getting scared at the point that it's scary. And we found very convincing evidence that he was doing precisely that. He was following the plot. So in a way, it was interesting to feed that information back to his dad, because clearly he would have been deriving some real experience from going to the movies and watching them.
I find that he's very aware of his surroundings. He's able to comprehend as far as if something's funny or not funny, or if he sees somebody familiar, he's able to respond to that, right? And like Jeff, I find, like for me personally, there's Jeff before this happened, right? And then there's Jeff now. He's different, but we've accepted this is Jeff, and we love him just the same.